Hey, welcome to the Dr. Jeff Experience. So we just came right in with usually have an intro, but tonight I was rushing, and let me tell you, man, this show, I normally don't do controversy. I normally have a guest, and I rescheduled my guest for next week. And but tonight I wanted to talk about something that a lot of people have been talking about, and yes, as you can see, I am wearing my official Omega Psi Phi fraternity bow tie, along with my Omega Psi Phi cufflinks. And I want to preface something tonight. Let me just settle up everything in advance. I'm talking tonight from um, a place of experience, a place of not expertise, but I can speak officially on what it is that we're going to talk about tonight, because um, too too many times people speak from a place with um, no real history. They only deal with things. They've only dealt with things on a surface level. And tonight, I want to deal with stuff um, in a way where I can speak as having officially been a part of what I'm talking about. Um, I have my bachelor's degree. First of all, I got a certificate in ministry from Princeton Theological Seminary. I have a bachelor's degree from an H.B.C.U. seminary. I have a master's degree from Morehouse School of Religion at the Interdenominational Theological Center. And I have a doctorate degree earned um, from Howard University School of Theology. So when I am talking tonight, I'm talking from a place from being an authority somewhat, not an expert, but I am talking to you from a place where I have history. So I want to deal with this thing of there's been a lot of videos made about renouncing our historically Black colleges and our Divine Nine organizations. And yeah, I feel some kind of way about it. Having gone through the process, having gone through HBCUs, several of them, I feel some kind of way because um, I know the significance of going to an HBCU, and I'm not putting anybody down who has not attended an HBCU. I'm not putting anybody down who has been a part of a D9 organization and renounced it, or even renounced an HBCU. That's your choice. That's your thing. But I'm going to deal with it about what I do have a problem with. Um, so let me just get some stuff going tonight so that you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, I want you to share this video, tag somebody. We're broadcasting live on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, and on LinkedIn Live. We got a lot of people who watch us through these streams, and I want you to let somebody know that we're here tonight. I want to hear from them. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you believe about this renouncing of our HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, and our Divine Nine organizations. So let me just start off with a little bit of homework and letting people understand exactly what this is. When we talk about this term renouncing, and then I'm gonna go to the video and let you see what I'm talking um, about this one young lady. And again, I'm not throwing any shade towards her. I'm just putting out there what I believe, and what I believe could be a problem, and what I believe plays into the hands of of those who have an agenda to eliminate what institutions we still have for our benefit. I do believe that there are some out there that if they had the opportunity, they would eliminate everything that we have. And when I say we, I do mean African Americans. I do mean the marginalized Asians, because at HBCUs you get everybody. You get everybody because people are understanding the value of what takes place at an HBCU. And I'm sharing right now, as you can see me, I'm sharing this stream so that others can get in and hear what's going on. So let's do this. Let's do this. Tonight we're talking about renouncing historically black colleges and universities and Divine Nine organizations, your black Greek organizations, fraternities, and sororities. Let's deal with this word renounce first. It means to formally declare one's abandonment of a claim, right, or possession, to refuse to follow, obey, or recognize any further. Now, another part of that word renounce something is to state publicly that you are no longer have a particular belief, or that you will no longer behave in a particular way. Another word that's being thrown around as the reason for renouncing our historically black colleges and universities and our Divine Nine organizations is because of some demonic ways that are involved with it. Now, let me give you one of the definitions I saw for demonic: an evil spirit, devil, or fiend, an evil passion or influence. Okay. A person considered extremely wicked, evil, or cruel. So I want you to keep these things, and I'll keep posting these up so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a portion of a video that brought me to where I'm talking about. And this is a young lady who is renouncing Spelman College. I want you to listen to this.
You know, it was a struggle. One thing that I was thinking about this morning too was that I struggled at Spelman more than anything else. Now, I'm not going to exalt myself and say like I'm just the smartest person in the world, because I'm not. Like, it's all about the grace of God that, everything in my life has transpired the way that it does. I give him all the honor and glory for just the.
And again, I want you to realize that I am not, now this is public. This is on YouTube. So I do have the right to play this because it's public. And I'm sharing this so that you understand the context in which I'm coming from. So she has renounced herself from being a part of Spelman College. She was once at Spelman College and she left, and now she's renouncing all of the things that go on. But I'll let you hear it, and then we'll talk about it.
The knowledge and the wisdom that he's given me. And so, yeah. And so with that, I didn't feel like I was a dumb cookie, right? Coming into college. Y'all, I struggled. I struggled. I struggled in college, right? I barely graduated with I had like a 2.4 2.7, something like that. I was on academic probation at Spelman. I just couldn't, for some reason, I could not focus. I could not just, now I did start out as a biology major, and then I said, okay, that's not going to work. And then I changed my major to psychology, and that got me a little bit better. But baby, that first year and a half that I was a biology major, that just went ahead and took me on out the game. And you know what's so beautiful is that, the reason why I didn't pledge a sorority is because I didn't qualify. Oh, Jesus, that's so good. Because of my grades, I didn't qualify to pledge a sorority. So that's the reason why I did not pledge, but it was only by the hand of God. It was only by the grace of God. But I say that though, because yes, my GPA was very, very low. But again, I'm like, I'm not dumb. Like I made A's and B's in high school. I never was really a bad student. I just could not understand. And what was so interesting is I went on a study abroad trip out of the country one year, and I made a 4.0.
So I want you to see it started off with, and I urge you to go online and hear this for yourself. It's about 50 minutes long, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it started off with supposedly ritualistic stuff that's demonic, things that go on at Spelman. She even talks about the crest that is changed and is no longer godly. And I want you to see something, because on here we deal with truth, and I want to show you what I found. Well, let's hear this first, and then we'll continue.
I'm like, or not one year, but it was over the summer. But I had a 4.0 when I went outside of the country to another place and got A's, no problem at all, right? Years later, I got another degree and I got a 3.8 GPA. So, and not only did I get that additional degree after I graduated from Spelman, I had also, by that time, I was working full time. I had my daughter at that time and had some drama going on in my life at that time. And I still somehow pulled out a 3.8 versus being in college. And that was my full-time job, right? To be in college. And I didn't have no other responsibilities. And you mean to tell me I got a 2.4? Whew, demonic covenants and curses, y'all. So yeah. And there's also just a lot about just evangelizing people into this whole like Spelman and Morehouse thing. But people don't evangelize like that for Jesus, right? We're so quick to evangelize for Spelman and Morehouse and H.B.C.U's and sororities and fraternities, but we don't do the same thing for Jesus. And so, like I said, regardless of what H.B.C.U you went to, really think about if there were any rituals, if there were any ceremonies that you may have come into agreement with unknowingly. And I would just go ahead and pray the renunciation prayer anyway. But definitely if you went to Spelman, probably if you went to Morehouse, there's probably some that were there as well. Definitely at Howard University. Howard was the birthplace for all of the sororities, all of the Greek sorority fraternities. So you definitely need to renounce if you went to Howard. Hampton is another one. Hampton literally has a graveyard on their campus. And also superstitions there as well. Yeah, if you went to HBCU, just check in with God. Check in with God. Now's the time. Don't wait. Turn this video off and go into the prayer closet. Repent. Go to I'm going to put the link down in the description. Go to Out From Among Them. Yes, it is about sororities and fraternities, but it still applies. It still applies. Just replace the word of sorority, fraternity, and
Okay, so you see how it shifted? It shifted from renouncing Spelman supposedly because of ritualistic things that are demonic to now all HBCUs and Divine Nine organizations, because all of them are Demonic. And again, let me share with you what demonic means. An evil spirit, devil, or fiend, an evil passion or influence, a person connected extremely wicked, evil, or cruel. Now, again, I've gone to several HBCUs. As you can see, I'm a proud graduate of Howard University, Morehouse School of Religion at the Interdenominational Theological Center, Christian Bible Institute and Seminary. I've got a degree from Princeton Theological Seminary. I've been a follower of Christ for almost 40 years. I've studied Islam. I know these things. And I know how people can take Christianity or things from the Bible to make it relevant to what they are trying to say or do, because it's interpretive. Let's just understand this, that the Bible is interpretive. You've got different versions. You got the King James, you got the New King James, you got the New Revised Standard Version, you've got the New Living Testament, you've got the New International Version. You've got several versions of the Bible, and those Bibles were written by man through interpretation of what they believe the word says. Now, unless this young lady has exegeted in the Greek, done her exegetical work, and she has broken down some of the passages that she used in the Greek, in the Hebrew, and she's dealt with land, language, culture, and dealt with the Hebrew, Greek language, Aramaic, and she's done all of that exegetical work. You know, you're just like many others, and you are manipulative. As a matter of fact, and again, I'm not throwing shade. I believe that everybody has an opinion, and I respect people's opinion about things. And normally, I don't talk about this kind of stuff because it leads to very nasty stuff. I know what I know. I believe in what I believe, and I respect others with their belief. But what I'm sick and tired of is people talking about institutions that I know about, and they talk about God told them to do this, and God is warning those who are involved in this that they need to denounce, because it's not godly. Listen, I just went over and now a part of, proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, with 9 other great men. And I can tell you that we prayed before everything we did, and we prayed after everything that we did. God has always been involved with everything that we've done. You hear me? God. and that word God, if you do the etymology of that, the God, you will find that even that is a Germanic word. If you do the etymology of God, you'll see that didn't come into play until later on. I mean, it wasn't always the word God for the deity that we pray to, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But I'm just letting you know that I'm coming to you from a place of knowledge. I know what I'm talking about. And it hurts me when I see people, especially young people, talking about things and denouncing our Black organizations. One of the things you'll never see, or very rarely see, I never see Italian cultures talking about anything that they are involved in. They don't talk about any of their organizations. They don't denounce any of their organizations. I don't hear Catholics talk about the Knights of Columbus or any of those organizations. I don't hear Irish culture talk about anything in their culture. I don't hear Hispanics talk about anything in their culture. I don't hear Germans, Asians, none of that. But and what hurts me is our young folks are talking about our organizations that have meant so much for us. Our historically Black colleges and universities are the only places at one time that we could go to get an education. And now we're calling it demonic. We're calling it things that are not true. Early in the video, she says that Spelman does not represent Christ anymore. Well, again, do your history, y'all. Because when I went and I looked, and she talked about the crest. And here's the crest right here. Still, it says what? Our whole school for Christ, Spelman College. Our whole school for Christ. So what is she talking about? If you notice at the end of her video, she goes from talking about Spelman, and then she deals with the fact that she didn't do well at Spelman, but when she went to some other schools, she did well. Well, guess what? Maybe you just couldn't take the excellence that's involved at Spelman College. Because I know many people, I know many graduates from Spelman College, and they are doing quite well in life because of their education. One of the well, let me say this. Then she talks about Howard University, and she talks about how demonic that is. Well, again, right within our crest at Howard University, it says what? Veritas et utilitas. Veritas et utilitas. Okay, do you know what that means? Do we know what that means? Let me show you what it means. Let me show you what it means, okay? It means veritas et utilitas, truth in service. Where is the demonic stuff in that? Where is the demonic stuff in that? Please let me know. Please let me know. I'm confused. She talked about how one of the songs talks about praise. We should give praise to Spelman. Well, if we give praise to a lot of people, we praise our preachers. I just saw a video where Reverend Jamal Bryant just announced his engagement. Okay, just announced his engagement, and people praised him. They're still praising him. Every day there's another post about Pastor Jamal Bryan, and what's going on. And they're praising him. Does that mean that they're putting him over God? Is that demonic? And you talk about Spelman and how that's demonic. If you participate in what she calls rituals at Spelman, then you are participating in demonic spirits or devil worship. One of the most amazing preachers that I know here in this Atlanta area, all over, is Reverend Nichelle Guidry. She is the dean of Sisters Chapel and director of the Wisdom Center at Spelman College. Now, look her up. Look her up. In fact, let me put it in here. You look up Reverend Dr. Nichelle Guidry. Reverend Dr. Nichelle Guidry. One of the most prolific preachers I have seen or heard in a long time. She is definitely a godly woman, And I'm telling you, she ain't going to be involved with nothing that is demonic. Okay. So, I believe that a lot of these young folks, and I'm not saying her, but I believe a lot of these young folks are looking for attention in all the wrong ways. And I pray for this young lady that she gets the help that she needs. I pray for all of these young folks who are coming out and doing damage because that's what they're doing. They're doing damage to our institutions that we fought so hard for. And again, I respect everybody's opinion, but if you're going to come for these historically Black college and universities and our Divine Nine organizations, do your homework and speak from a place of authority, the same way I'm doing right now. First of all, she's wrong because she said all of the D9 organizations started at Howard University, and they did not. Many of them did, but some started at PWIs, predominantly white institutions. So do your homework. So, you start from 1906 up to 1963, and you look at all of the Divine Nine organizations and what they were started for. Service, friendship, they all do great work within the community, not just the Black community, but in the community. They do work everywhere. They do great work. And so do HBCUs, because HBCUs were, again, it was the place that we could go when we couldn't go anyplace else. And in many of your HBCUs now, you will see that it's just not for people of color. You see people from all walks of life now, from all walks of life, who are part of HBCUs. So they must be doing something right. They must be doing something right. I'm just trying to say they must be doing something right. But the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems that I have when it comes to these folks tearing down our Black our HBCUs and our Divine Nine organizations, is that what they do is they give credence to those organizations that are trying to doing their best to tear us down. There are organizations that are out there right now that are doing everything that they can to tear down our historically Black colleges. They're doing everything that they can to tear down any institution that is there for African Americans. Let me just go ahead and say it. They're trying to tear it down. And what we're doing is we're saying to others, yes, we don't even believe in what we have. We don't even believe in what we have because we're tearing it down, and we're talking in a manner that makes no sense. And that's the scary part of all of this. We're saying things that make no sense, that has no validity. We haven't done our history, and we're not speaking from a place of authority. Now, again, I believe that everyone is entitled to their opinion. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But what I do have a problem with are those who talk from a place where they have not done their work, And I believe that a lot of these young folks, a lot of folks who are tearing down our historically black colleges and our Greek letter organizations are using the Bible the same way people did to legitimize slavery, to legitimize women not being able to vote, the same way, the same way that folks did in the past. It's the same thing that we're doing, and we're legitimizing folks. We're saying to others that it's okay for you to talk about our organizations. It's okay for you to tear down our organizations because we don't even believe in them. We don't even believe in them. So how could we ever get progress? There's an organization right now, and again, this is why it's so important for us to vote. Okay, it's so important for us to vote because when we vote, especially from the local levels, when we vote on a local level, what we do is we're able to make sure that we have laws in our institutions that don't take us backwards as a people. Black people, white people, poor, marginalized folks. There is a group right now called Project 2025. It's called a Mandate for Leadership, a group of very ultra conservative folks that they are ready on day one. Day one. They said as soon as if President Trump was to be reelected again or elected again, as soon as he says, "In God we trust," they are going to start changing laws, the Constitution, and a whole bunch of other things through the executive privilege. They're going to start right away tearing some things down that have grown us, that have given us the ability to move forward. They're already coming after DEI. Okay, they're already coming after those things. You see, they're already coming after certain things in school, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. They're coming after critical race theory, CRT, which is basically just teaching about history. They don't want us to know about our history, and they don't want others, their own people, to know about the history because they're afraid of the truth. And the problem, the issue is teaching about history should not put fear in people. We need to know what happened in the past so that we don't go back to it. And we could recognize those things that are familiar to the past to say, hey, wait a minute, this didn't work then, and it's not going to work now. Or this was offensive, it was oppressive, it was demeaning. And, we hear this stuff about make America great again and all of that. And you have to ask the question, like, when was it? What part? What period? So again, I respect Republicans, independents, libertarians, all that. All I say is, you can have your thoughts, but respect mine also. Okay. And I'm not going to do anything that's going to stand for tearing down anyone, any race of people, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whoever, gay, straight, whatever. I respect people as humans. And all of this renouncing in the name of God. You talk about some of the things that they talked. The young lady talked about the song where they talk about praising the school and holding up the tenets of Spelman. You see the young lady who just denounced after 30 days at Howard University being a part of Delta Sigma Theta. Well, my question is, in your search of history about the organization, what if you had to see this and say to yourself, like, okay, is this something I want to be a part of? Why did you wait to go through the process and then wait 30 days later and then denounce it? It doesn't make sense to me. But again, that's your opinion. But what you do again is you add credence to those organizations that are trying to close down HBCUs, trying to stop organizations like D.Min organizations from doing what they do. You are giving credence to those because they say, see, even their own people denounced it. So we need to think. We need to think. We need to think about what we're doing before we do things. Listen, I want y'all to chime in. For some reason, I don't know why it doesn't appear that folks are able to chime in tonight. So I'm trying to fix that because I don't see any comments. And I know that there's some folks, because I'm getting some texts. I know some folks are trying to get through. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So anyway, okay, it is live. Okay, cool. So anyway, yeah, I don't understand why, if in fact you want to leave something, just leave. Just leave. If you feel as though this is demonic, or I don't want to be a part of this anymore, why not just leave? Just leave. Just leave. You know what I mean? Why do you have to go public? And why do you have to talk about it publicly? Why do you have to tell people that it's this or it's that? It's God told me to come forward and tell people this. God told me to come forward and tell people that. It isn't God love? Isn't the God I serve is love? And what God teaches me is to show love for one another and to go to one another in love with what it is that we are having an ought about. Okay. What we have a problem with. The Bible that I read tells me to go in private and tell those who we have a problem with about what we have a problem with, and talk to them in love. So I don't understand why we're doing this. One of the things I say to you is, if in fact, which you have the right to do this, you have the right to share your opinion. You have the same way that I'm on social media right now talking about this, but I'm talking from a place of authority. Okay. I preface this whole show with my credentials and where I'm speaking from. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I am an authority in what I'm talking about. I've been in politics for many years. I've been involved with the political system. I've got degrees. I've got experience. And I'm telling you, I do have a problem with the public renouncing of our institutions because I believe that it is damaging. I believe that you ought to do things again. If you don't believe in HBCUs, and let me tell you, HBCUs ain't for everybody. All right, you got to have some strength, and I understand. I've been on the phone on hold for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour. I've I've tried to get people in certain offices for a day or two. I'm dealing with that now. I've emailed people over and over again for certain things. But here's the other part of that. I'll never forget. Never forget. Um, During my doctoral education at Howard, 9:30 at night, I get a phone call, and it's from one of my professors, Mr. Funroy. Hey, how you doing, Professor? Um, I didn't get your paper, and that's not like you. What happened? I'm like, wow, it's 9:30 at night now. I said, well, sir, I know I sent it. He says, okay, well, I need you to go check. I'm like, at 9:30? He says, I'm waiting. I said, I'll wait for you. He said, I'll wait for you. So, all right. So come down to my office, look at my computer, and I'm checking to see what I sent. And it's not there. So I check my drafts and I say, sir, I am so sorry. It is in my drafts. I did not send it. He said, well, I'm waiting. I said, okay. So I send it. He got it. And he says, okay, I got it. Thank you very much. I was like, okay, thank you. This is at 9:30 at night. This is a doctoral program at an H.B.C.U. And that's not the only one. I can remember being at Morehouse School of Religion at ITC. And our professors were letting us know right up front, listen, you're just not going to come in here thinking that you're going to skate because this is HBCU. We're going to be harder on you because our names go behind this degree, this diploma. And I'm not going to sign off on something for somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about or can represent. Because when you go out into this world, you represent me. When you say I had Professor so-and-so and I had their class, and you're out here not knowing what you're talking about, their thing was you represent them. And they weren't going to sign off. They were very serious about it from the outset. Soon as day one, when you got your syllabus, that was the speech that you got also. They weren't just going to sign off on anything just because. You had to earn it. And trust me, they were serious. So I know the seriousness of what comes along with an HBCU. Now, again, I no shade on Princeton, but I was a part of Princeton Theological Seminary. Great school. I learned so much. But it's a difference. It's a difference. Trust me when I tell you. Um, when you look at the Divine Nine organizations, when you look at Alpha Phi Alpha, when you look at Alpha Kappa Alpha, when you look at Kappa Alpha Psi, and then of course Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta, Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, Iota Phi Theta. These organizations, they were built on service, on friendship, and all of them have godly principles. All of them. All of them. So if it's not for you, D9 organizations are not for everybody. HBCUs are not for everybody. Yeah, you're going to stand in line a little longer. Yeah, you're going to stay on the phone a little longer. Yeah, things are going to be a little louder. But man, for me, nothing can beat the HBCU experience. Nothing can beat the D9 experience. And I've been around the D9 experience all my life. My uncle's a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. My cousin who is now a member, my friend, all of my friends. And guess what? Many of them, matter of fact, most of them are preachers. So are they demonic? Are they my sponsor, a bishop? Is he demonic? So what are these people talking about? If I praise my wife, is that demonic? I'm not putting my wife over God, but I'm giving her praise. If I give praise to my uh sons and daughter, if I praise them, my grandkids, am I putting them over God? No. But I'm praising them for what they do. I'm proud of what they do. I mean, we do your homework, people. Words mean things. And we're taking stuff so far out of context because we don't do our homework. We don't study. We don't even understand some of the words that we're using, what they mean. First thing we want to talk about is God. It's not godly. But yet we go to church and we perform rituals that we don't know nothing about. Go to a Baptist church and touch that communion table or that communion cloth. Oh, don't touch that table. That's holy. No, it's not. They try to touch that cover. And they'll deacon, some of those folks will cut your hands off. Ain't nothing holy about that. That cover goes back to a time when they were out in the fields doing church or even in the church. And they put it over the communion table to keep the bugs away. When you got your ushers with that one hand behind their back as they're ushering, there ain't no holiness in that. As a matter of fact, they did that because the other white folks said that you got to put your hand behind your back so we know you ain't stealing. Go do your history, people. Go do your history. You go to church every Sunday and you performing rituals that you think are holy. Don't have nothing to do with God. Listen to some of the songs that y'all singing. You talking about giving praise to Morehouse, giving praise to Spelman. You're talking about these alma maters and how they're not godly. But listen to some of the stuff that's in church. Do your homework, people. Stop being so quick to get on social media and talk about our institutions. If you have a problem with it, go to the people and say, hey, listen, I got a problem with this. I think that, it's this, or this is my idea about it. Can you help me with this? Go to your pastor and talk to them. Go to somebody other than your internet preacher. Go to somebody and make sure that they have the credentials, the experience, and the life experience that could help you with the decisions that you're making, instead of just reading something from the King James Version of the Bible and not doing any exegetical work, not dealing with any land, language, culture, history, or any of that. Don't stop that, because you're making yourself look foolish. And again, what you're doing is you're giving in to those structures that are trying to do the best that they can to tear what we've built up for so long. They're trying to tear it down. Do your homework, people. Listen, I'm closing out early because I don't know what's happening with the stream tonight. I know people are trying to get in. They can't. They're trying to post, but they can't. And I'm sorry about that. But we'll be back next week. We got a special guest for next week, and we'll have all the technical glitches done. But please, people, please, let's talk to one another. Let's not be so fast with getting on social media and then dogging out our organizations, dogging each other out. When we talk about demonic spirits and how it has infiltrated our H.B.C.Us and D.Mins, and then we get online and we dogging it out, that's just as demonic as what you're talking about, as the organization that you're talking about. There's nothing godly about that. You think God is pleased with that? No, not at all. Build up, don't tear down. Build up. That's the God that I serve. I serve a God of love. I serve a God of nurturing, of peace, of joy, of long suffering. I serve a God based upon the fruits of the Spirit. Let's do better, y'all. Let's do better. I really have a problem with all of this because I'm intimately involved with it. I've been preaching and teaching for over 20 some odd years now. I've been involved with a follower of Christ for almost 40 years. I've been in church, in school for over 15 years. I've studied for a number of years. I've got certificates, degrees, and everything else. Don't make me an expert, but it does make me an authority on what I'm talking about. We got to do better, people, because there are structures that are trying to tear things down that we have built up and our ancestors have built. That's another thing. Whenever we talk about ancestors, all of a sudden it gets spooky, like, oh, ancestors, that's demonic. No, it's not. Our ancestors are our ancestors. We talk about when a person dies, the body dies, but the soul lives on. So where do you think the soul is? It's our ancestors. The soul is. I feel the spirit of my mom, my grandparents, my dad. I feel the spirit of my uncle, my uncles, my aunts. They live. There's nothing demonic about that. But we are so Afrophobia. We're so Afrophobic. Again, we are afraid of who we are as a people. I have respect for Irish, for Jewish, for Asians, for Germans, for Italians. They don't talk about their culture. They respect their culture. Us, we're the first ones to tear each other down. We need to stop it. We need to stop. We'll never progress if we keep doing this. People, listen, you know how I always close. Let's meet needs and solve problems. More than anything, let's love one another. Let's have respect for one another. Let's have respect for people as humans. Stop tearing things down. Know your history. Do your homework. Read a book other than one book. Read some books. You see all those books behind me? That's just a portion. Read some books. Get some knowledge. Know what you're talking about before you get out there and start tearing stuff down. Listen, I love you. Can't wait to see you next week. Thanks for stopping by and hearing me out. And meet needs, solve problems. Peace.